And welcome back to the Unofficial Fan Lounge, the fan podcast of the United Football League. Within the confines of this podcast is uncalled for. My name is Mike Chernovsky. I'll be your host for this and every other version of Unofficial Fan Lounge. So let's start with some good news about the league. They announced this week that they will be expanding for the 2028 season, and that expansion will be at least two teams. We can safely assume who one of the teams will be, but it is not the team that has been announced. The team that has been announced will be playing in Oklahoma City starting in 2028. So they bring it to the league to 9 teams. We can expect another team to be announced for the 2028 season sooner rather than later, I would say. And if I was a betting man, I would probably guess that team number 2 will be the return of the Michigan Panthers, because that was promised by Mr. Rapoli when he moved those teams in the first place. That'd all be contingent on Detroit City FC getting a stadium, and it sounds like they're going to get that stadium. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. All right, so let's get into week 3 now of the United Football League. And we start with our first overtime game of the season, Orlando at Louisville. This was the Friday night game. Storm 29, Kings 27. The crowd in Louisville was 11,082. And like I said, this did go overtime. And I understand that the overtime rules were quite controversial. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I don't know the specifics. I unfortunately couldn't watch the game. I was occupied elsewhere. So yeah, with that, Orlando goes to 3-0. So they're the only good new team, unfortunately. And Louisville drops to 0-3. Your team leaders, we'll start with the Kings. Jason Bean, 352 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. Benny Snell, your leading rusher for the Kings, 12 attempts for 50 yards. And Isaiah Winstead, 7 catches, 114 yards. Unfortunately, not quite enough for Orlando. Leading passer was Jack Plummer, 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Trey Smith led the team in rushing with 8 attempts for 35 yards. And Chris Rowland, 9 catches, 113 yards, and 1 TD. Some of you may remember him from his days with DC. So yeah, Orlando 3-0, Louisville 0-3. Game number 2, Houston at DC. So this is DC's home opener. Finally, we get to finally see a bear snake in the wild. And my understanding is that their new mascot is also a bear snake. So, Defenders 45, Gamblers 7 at Audi Field. Attendance 12,167. So great to show up and show out. For DC, leading passer Jordan Tayamu, 173 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. Deion Jackson led the defenders in rushing with 5 attempts, 70 yards and a touchdown. Ty Scott led the team in catching with 4 catches for 49 yards. For Houston, I am going to butcher this name, but his brother played for the Miami Dolphins. So Taulia Tagovailoa, 171 yards passing, 1 TD, 1 pick. Jalen Whites led the team in rushing with 10 attempts, 28 yards. And Justin Hall, 9 catches, 69 yards, and a TD. The defenders climbed to 2-1. Houston 1-2. Not looking good for Houston. Next game, this is early Sunday, Columbus at Dallas. So another undefeated going against another winless. And I think we can see a trend here. Dallas 28, Columbus 23. So Dallas stays unbeaten, Columbus stays winless. Attendance for this game, 5,133. Which, okay, I get it. Some of the stadiums under renovation, and some of it has been tarped off, but that is pathetic. Alright. Your team leaders for Dallas, Austin Reed continues to lead in passing 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. Day Hunter led the Renegades in rushing with 11 rushes for 62 yards and a touchdown. And Tyler Vaughns continues to dominate on the receiving end of things with 5 catches for 41 yards. For Columbus, your lane pass, of course, Jalen McClendon, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. John Lovett leading the team in rushing this week, 6 attempts for 24 yards and a touchdown. Tay Martin leading in receiving for 5 catches for 49 yards. Gotta do something about the attendance in Dallas. And the last game, this is a game I watched most of, Birmingham at St. Louis. Welcome home, A.J. McCarron. Unfortunately, probably the smallest crowd in Battlehawk history with 20,209 in attendance. And I tell you what, the first half, Battlehawks looked decent and everything. Third quarter, it seemed to all go south, but they come back from behind, and the final score, Battlehawks 34, Stallions 30. My understanding from people who were there, a lot of the depressed attendance had to do with the fact that the Cardinals were playing baseball just down the street against the Sox, Boston Red Sox. So let's look at those stats real quick for the Battlehawks and the Stallions. For the Battlehawks, Harrison Frost came in at halftime and proceeded to give us 148 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. By the way, those 2 interceptions were his first 2 pass attempts, one of which was run back for a touchdown. Kevon Latulis leading the team in rushing this week for 13 attempts for 41 yards. It was they did a good job rushing the football, but it was these short rushes up the middle and everything, but got the job done. And Hakeem Butler led the team with 4 catches, 146 yards, 1 touchdown. For the Stallions, Matt Corral, 252 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, one of which was run back for a touchdown. Anthony McFarland Jr. led the Stallions in rushing, 13 rushes for 56 yards and a TD. And Deion Kane, 3 catches, 116 yards, 1 TD. And those are your leaders for that particular game. I wish I gave shout-outs to the defensive players in this rundown, but I digress. Battlehawks are now 2-1, and Birmingham is 1-2. So let's take a quick look at the standings after 3 weeks. Dallas 3-0, Orlando 3-0, St. Louis 2-1, DC 2-1, Houston 1-2, Birmingham 1-2, Columbus 0-3, and Louisville 0-3. So, early start to this week 4. So we start with a Thursday night game. Louisville at Houston on Thursday night, 7 p.m. local time in Houston. And it'll be on the NFL Network for those who choose to watch. Maybe Louisville finally gets a win here. I don't have much confidence in Houston right now. So yeah, I'll go with the upset here with the Kings. Then the Friday nighter is Dallas at Columbus. Didn't these two teams just play each other? But this one's in Columbus, and do the Aviators finally get their first win here? Oh, speaking of the Aviators, I forgot to mention this. Ted Ginn Jr., their head coach, got arrested before this past game for DUI. And he had to be, at least this week, replaced temporarily by Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator. And just real quick on Mr. Haley's coaching experience. He's coached in the NFL. Jets, scouting assistant, wide receivers coach. Chicago Bears, wide receivers coach. Dallas Cowboys, wide receivers coach. Arizona Cardinals, offensive coordinator. Kansas City Chiefs, he was the head coach from 2009 to 2011. Pittsburgh, he was the Steelers offensive coordinator. Cleveland, offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator for a high school in Florida. And then he's been head coach for both the Tampa Bay Bandits and the dearly departed Memphis Showboats. And as I said, he's currently the offensive coordinator, but had to fill in as head coach this week because of Coach Ginn getting arrested. So unless he can prove otherwise, I'm going big Dallas to win this one. All right. And then 2 Saturday games. So we start with St. Louis at DC. So game number 2 for the big rivals. And this time we are in front of the Beer Snake. And I do expect another close one. And hopefully it'll be Battlehawks on top. But we shall see. And then we have Orlando 3-0 going into Birmingham. So this is Birmingham's home opener, the final home opener, with Gucci Mane as the halftime entertainment, and it'll be interesting. Anthony Becht versus AJ McCarron, and first game in Birmingham. I am going for the upset. I can't believe I'm saying this in relation to Birmingham, because they've been so dominant prior to this year. But Birmingham with the upset win over Orlando. I will go with that. So there we go. That is your picks for week 4 of the United Football League. And good luck to all the teams as always. And we will talk to you next week after week 4.